Kidnapped Santa Claus by L. Frank Baum. Read by Caroline Laurie and Brad Shaw.
"I hope you will forgive me,"
said the demon pleadingly.
"I am not really a bad person, you know. And I believe I accomplish a great deal of good in the world." With this, he opened a back door that let in a flood of sunshine, and Santa Claus sniffed the fresh air gratefully.
"I bear no malice,"
said he to the demon in a gentle voice,
"and I'm sure the world would be a dreary place without you. So good morning and a Merry Christmas to you."
With these words, he stepped out to greet the bright morning, and a moment later he was trudging along, whistling softly to himself on his way to his home in the Laughing Valley. Marching over the snow toward the mountain was a vast army, made up of the most curious creatures imaginable. There were numberless knooks from the forest, as rough and crooked in appearance as the gnarled branches of the trees they ministered to. And there were dainty rills from the fields, each one bearing the emblem of a flower or plant it guarded. Behind these were many ranks of pixies, gnomes, and nymphs, and in the rear 1,000 beautiful fairies floated along in gorgeous array. This wonderful army was led by Whisk, Peter, Neuter, and Kilter, who had assembled it to rescue Santa Claus from captivity and to punish the demons who had dared to take him away from his beloved children. And, although they looked so bright and peaceful, the little immortals were armed with powers that would be very terrible to those who had incurred their anger. Woe to the demons of the caves if this mighty army of vengeance ever met them!
But lo! Coming to meet his loyal friends appeared to be the imposing form of Santa Claus, his white beard floating in the breeze and his bright eyes sparkling with pleasure at this proof of the love and veneration he'd inspired in the hearts of the most powerful creatures in existence. And while they clustered around him and danced with glee at his safe return, he gave them earnest thanks for their support. But Whisk and Neuter and Peter and Kilter he embraced affectionately. "It is useless to pursue the demons,"
said Santa Claus to the army.
"They have their place in the world and can never be destroyed. But that is a great pity, nevertheless."
So the fairies and nooks and pixies and rills all escorted the good man to his castle, and there left him to talk over the events of the night with his little assistants. Whisk had already rendered himself invisible and flown through the big world to see how the children were getting along on this bright Christmas morning. And by the time he returned, Peter had finished telling Santa Claus of how they had distributed the toys.
"We really did very well,"
cried the fairy in a pleased voice.
"for I found little unhappiness amongst the children this morning. Still, you must not get captured again, my dear master, for we might not be so fortunate another time in carrying out your ideas."
He then related the mistakes that had been made, and which he'd not discovered until his tour of inspection. And Santa Claus at once sent him with rubber boots for Charlie Smith and a doll for Mamie Brown, so that even these two disappointed ones became happy.
As for the wicked demons of the caves, they were filled with anger and chagrin when they found that their clever capture of Santa Claus had come to naught. Indeed, no one on that Christmas day appeared to be at all selfish or envious or hateful. And realizing that while the children's saint had so many powerful friends, it was folly to oppose him. The demons never again attempted to interfere with his journeys on Christmas Eve.
Happy Christmas, everybody!